But people have their own conclusions about you if you tell them you're from Wisconsin. My book tours take me out to the West Coast a lot. My last book tour, they started me out in San Francisco, and I had to teach those folks some things. Right away when you say that you're from Wisconsin, everybody starts in with all the cold references, right? The frozen tundra. And I tell them, man, we have summer. It's called 6 weeks of mosquitoes. But there is no question that the cold is what defines us. And we have this whole body of knowledge that's temperature-based. And you have to admit, I mean, it's April 28th today, and when I went to feed the chickens this morning, I left footprints in fresh snow. So it's tough to tell them otherwise, and so I admit the truth. I tell them along about September, October, it starts getting pretty crisp, and by November it's freezing pretty hard, and man, by December, you can pick up a 16-penny nail using nothing but the tip of your tongue. Although once you do that, it's hard to get it back in the Folgers can. You gotta kind of huff on it. It's probably gonna lose a couple of taste buds there on the end. But you pick up this knowledge. Like my wife and I, our bedroom's upstairs in an old farmhouse, and beside the bed there's a window that looks out on a great big old white pine. It stood there forever. And you know, after living in Wisconsin all these years, in the middle of the winter in the morning, as soon as I wake up, I can look out at that white pine and I can judge to within about plus or minus 5 degrees how cold it is based strictly on how much wiggle is left in the pine needles. You know, if they got a little flex to them, you'll be all right. But if they're as stiff as finishing nails in a broom handle, you're gonna want an extra pair of long underwear, in addition to the pair you slept in. Ladies. So whenever I'm in places like San Francisco, I try to help them out, try to share my information, little things that you and I take for granted. Like I tell them, if you can see your breath, don't lick the pump handle. If your spit freezes before it hits the ground, it's too cold to be outside spitting. And I start, you know, there's another one very basic, and I apologize in advance for this because this is kind of coarse material to present to an audience this erudite. But I also share with them that old chestnut, you all heard it, don't eat the yellow snow, all right? But I take it a step further, I tell them, don't eat the green snow neither, all right? Because that's antifreeze. That'll kill you. They'll find you 8 hours later in a snowbank. You'll be dead but flexible. And don't eat the maroon snow neither, because that's hydraulic fluid and that stuff shoots right through you. We got this shared background. I mean, how many people out there tell me who hasn't scraped their entire windshield using nothing but a credit card? Either that or half a busted red plastic Dairy Queen spoon. And I just know that all of you have sat at a stoplight or on the school bus and you've taken your hand, you made it into a fist, and you used the heel of your fist to make little footprints in the window frost, right? You gotta remember to put the toes on there. I tell those people out west and in the warmer climates, I said, when summer's over, we don't pack up our beach towels and put them away. We roll them up and we lay them along the bottom of the kitchen door. And the ones that are left over, we take upstairs to the bedroom, we roll them up, we wedge them in the window. It's hard at first to get them propped in there, but by day 2, they've frozen right to the glass. And you're good till April at that point. The truth is, we love the cold, you know. We love to complain about it most of all. It's like grandma with her arthritis. Deep down inside, she's glad she's got it. Because she loves to complain about it, you know. It allows us to indulge in our all-time favorite Midwestern sport, stoic martyrdom. That was very painful, but no, I'm fine. I'll be good. Because bragging about the cold, man, that's like one of our favorite things. But you have to be careful. There's an art to this too. Outsiders run afoul of the rules of bragging about the cold. They don't realize what they're getting into. So up there by us, we have a lot of people lately moving out to the country. They get a little patch of land. They're going to raise some chickens and pigs, and that's great. I think it's terrific. A lot of those people are from Madison. And so this new person from Madison, they get up one morning in the dead of winter and they look out their kitchen window at the little thermometer that they got nailed up to the side of their custom-made chicken coop. Because chickens are the new black. And they look at that thermometer, it says 15 below, and they go, 15 below, I gotta go to town and I gotta brag about the cold. I'm going to the cafe. And I give them credit because they're trying to blend in, they're trying to become part of the culture. That's what you gotta do. And so they say, I gotta get to town, I gotta brag about how cold it was out here. This is amazing. So they run out to the garage and they get into their Subaru. You know, and they took the kayak rack off for the winter. Got the little ski rack there, and they turn it on, and of course NPR comes blasting out of the speakers. So they go to town, and they're going to go to the cafe, and they're going to brag about the cold. And so this newcomer gets to the cafe, and they walk through the door. And there's one other person in the cafe. He's an old-timer sitting way down at the end. He's got coffee and a donut. And the old-timer looks up, gives him the nod, and he says, "Is it cold out by you?" "Okay, that's a trap." The secret to bragging about the cold is never go first. Because this newcomer goes, "Oh yeah, it was 15 below out by us." The old timer goes, "Yeah, well, 17 below out by us." And he pauses for just a beat because he's professional, and he goes, Of course that was on the milk house thermometer, which always reads a couple of degrees high." Game, set, and match right there. So I tell the people from these warmer climates the things we understand because of the cold, including the fact, where I'm from up there, if you see a man drink all 24 cans of beer in a Liney's 24-pack, we don't see a man with a drinking problem. We see a man who's going to stomp that carton flat and zip tie it to the grill of his pickup truck. That's not a drinking problem, that's defroster enhancement right there. But the single most important thing that I share with folks who aren't from Wisconsin is I tell them, if you ever find yourself in a Walmart parking lot in Wisconsin in January, and a complete stranger walks up to you and says, "Can you jump me?" Don't get your hopes up. This is a dead battery situation, not a speed dating situation.